Taurus, this is your July 2022 soul story. If you've got sun rising or moon as in sign, this is your reading. We're going to give you some key astrological dates and some messages to help you move through the next few weeks that will hopefully resonate and inspire and just give you a little bit of extra support. So this is Romy. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to my channel. We're into Cancerian energy in July, and we open up your reading with the energy of the Knight of Cups. I need you to be open-minded through this course of July because there's a renewal and a revival that's happening somewhere. There's a spark where you feel like something's coming back to life and it takes on a new sense of meaning and value for you. It may even bring about deep feelings around what you love and the way in which you've kind of allowed something to take a back seat, and now there's like a real firm reshuffling of your priorities to make sure that you create space for it. So she's here humming her heartstring, and she's sitting on top of the lotus flower that suggests to me you've just come through the other side of something that's really challenged you. It's taking you deep within, and the thing is, July is going to continue to a certain degree that soul journey of us going deeper. We're all being tested, we're all having lessons to be learned right now, ensuring that this time we get it right for ourselves. And I feel like for you, Taurus, as we were in this third house energy, you're finding a new way to say what you mean and to mean what you say. And part of that, I feel, is an acceptance and a sort of willingness on your part to say, okay, I'm doing this. Yeah, so there's something that's coming up through July where you're kind of like, all right, I'm all in, I'm going to do this. So it's maybe something that you've been on the fence for a little while, or didn't really feel that you necessarily were in the right environment or had what you needed or expected necessarily for it to kind of happen in this way. This is why we need you to be open-minded, because I think some of the things that are going to be showing up may be kind of out of order in terms of what your own plans or timelines were. But we're recognizing that the more we allow ourselves to go with the flow, and that's really what Cancer season can teach you, and kind of get in touch with how you feel, not judging of it, but just accepting, and then being clear and honest with yourself about what that means for you. Now we're going to open up July with a 10 square between Mars and Pluto. So there's a little bit of volatility and some uncomfortable, intense feelings around that. Seven of Swords suggests it's about testing you and triggering you around where you're lacking trust in yourself or the process, or maybe where you're feeling that lack of trust in others. It's also saying where you're still holding on to energies of guilt, or where are you directing kind of self-sabotage to the things that you do want, because this is a month where Chiron's going to be moving retrograde, Chiron the wounded healer, and we all get an opportunity to review and go back over, those trauma, those parts of our soul self that keep getting continuously brought to light when we're in uncomfortable or difficult situations. And so, understandably, as we review and look around kind of some of the things that are playing out in the world, it's easy to shift into an energy of frenzy or fear or heightened anxiety. And yet you've come so far, there's been such a tremendous sense of you already doing so much of the soul work. It's almost like a time for the revision of that. And that's going to be really supportive and to help you. You may also feel lacking in trust around a water energy, Cancer, sort of Pisces, Scorpio, or just you yourself just trying to make plans or do something that feels like it's on the down low, it's quiet. I don't think you're necessarily ready to announce things yet, and that's okay, because there's something really sort of up close and personal and very reflective in the review that we need to take through this month of July. Remember, we have a whole bunch of planets retrograde now, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Chiron, and then later this month also Jupiter going retrograde in Aries. So Mars is going to be shifting into your sign, Taurus, on the 4th of the month. That's going to be helpful. It's going to speak your energy language. And we have the Lovers coming through here. I think it will help you to take action to secure something for yourself about the way that you feel, or drawing closer to an important connection, collaboration, agreement. I think the agreement is what's kind of really coming up for me here. And what I find most striking, most poignant, in a way most beautiful this month, is the way in which you are going to be able to love and appreciate and accept all of the versions of you that helped you to keep going, to actually get to this point. It's almost like whatever was brought up to light through that Seven of Swords, as sort of challenging at times and triggering as that energy can be, it's helped you to negotiate something and come to this place of deeper acceptance. And that's important because it brings about a more solid and secure union, first between you and you, but then also in key relationships, both personally and professionally. Now, what we also are going to be welcoming is a full moon in Capricorn, fellow earth sign. That's supportive for you. And it's going to be trining with Uranus, which is in your sign. So positive, unexpected change coming in by way of what is released, what is revealed, what is brought to light. Now, what we need to remember is that this full moon, it's very stabilizing and sort of giving us a safe pair of hands to go there. What do I mean to go there? Where we're going to have some uncomfortable, vulnerable conversations because it's squaring with Chiron, that wounded healer planet. So the requirement to be honest and direct with yourself and others in both personal and professional capacities is actually going to be deeply supportive and cathartic for you. You're going to come out the other side of that moon feeling more whole, with a deeper sense of having integrated something. And as uncomfortable as it may be, it's important that you do be upfront and honest with people, because they may not know what you want or what you need. So it's not a time to let people assume. You know, your directness will stop the misunderstandings from escalating. And it's really helpful to think about the way in which you want to be treated by really expressing that energy out to the relationships and to the pathways that you're walking through. And I think that full moon is really going to draw focus and attention to help you. Now, we also are going to be welcoming Vesta, the asteroid goddess, shifting retrograde in Pisces on the 7th of the month. And remember, she talks to us about what we are most devoted to. She takes care of that hearth and home, and is really the way in which you are looking after that sacred inner flame. Now, retrograde in Pisces, we're going to be talking about boundaries. You've got the Three of Pentacles here, so there's something really meaningful that can get discussed, and it comes through with very generative, progressive energy. I really like that for you. It's what's needed so that you can be true to yourself in terms of the progress or what you are seeing, what you need to make happen. Now, with the Knight of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, there's beautiful creative energy coming through there. So what you also might be doing is having a revision over some creative projects or things that you're looking to explore. Remember, when we talk about renewal and revival for the month of July for you, Taurus, there may be things that you're pulling back from the past, or you want to give a fresh makeover, or just really sit with and see how you truly feel. You know, did you discard it too early? Is there still something of value here? But the boundaries are going to be important so that you continue to keep promises to yourself. This is what's important. You're now responding with a new, healthier version of you. And, you know, we don't always get it right when we are moving through that kind of shift and change and that reprogramming. But what we do see you being able to do through the month of July with that 3 coming in is just being much more open to forgive and to release and to kind of channel and direct whatever the trigger is that's going on from a healing perspective. So what I've been seeing is, as we move into July with some of this sort of heavy, more intense, challenging feelings, we're then going to leave the month actually on a high note with Sun trining Jupiter. But the main theme here is about what we're able to resolve and to deal with, you know, face and really kind of own and acknowledge in the process. And that full moon is the anchor point. It's absolutely pinnacle in helping you to really get a handle on something. It's a super moon. It's the closest moon to the earth. So its influence will be felt powerfully. And it's also about your sense of safety here. Now we can see the birds and the girl here, she's building the bricks. So it's also about you thinking about and addressing in a direct way for yourself. What is it going to take for me to have a greater degree of personal security at this moment in time? And if you are addressing where abundance is flowing or not, that Capricorn full moon is going to highlight, and Cancer season, again, where there's been self-sabotage or limiting beliefs that have been holding you back in that regards. What is the antidote? What is the answer in regards to this? Ace of Cups says it's the deep sense of how we are able to value ourselves, take care of ourselves, inner parent, nurture, nourish. It's you giving you all of the things that you feel were not given to you, because that's really, if we think about when we go back to that sort of root cause of what the money story looks like for us, so often it's wrapped up in our sense of value. Where does that come from? Well, there's a void, or there's a trauma, or there's a healing that's taking place. Now, I'm not under any illusions. Many of you will have done deep soul work around these themes. So July is an opportunity to kind of revisit and remind yourself of that, just so that you are more awake and alert and present to where there are instances where you feel like you're tripping back into an old pattern. It actually doesn't exist anymore. It's not part of your energy field. It doesn't need to be. It really doesn't need to be. So tracing it back to the root. And remember, as we move deeper into the month, as we're shifting into Leo season in its 4th house, there is something about you tracing back to the root, to your own emotional roots, your lineage, thinking about family, ancestors, the reflections really on what needs to be purged in this area, released, forgiven, so that you can enter into this new cycle for yourself with this full open mind and heart. I have a sense as well, we're going to be welcoming Venus in Cancer on the 17th, okay? And in the sign, it's really an invitation, I think, for you to allow yourself to feel, where you've been shutting down or switching off. And that might be uncomfortable, but then there's like a beautiful sense of release, and you give yourself recognition. Because in pinching yourself off from some of the more difficult things, you've also pinched yourself off from some of the really extraordinary, exquisite, beautiful things that you're now ready to celebrate. So the 6 of Wands suggests to me that it's through that act of devotion and self-care, of being generative, remembering that love, peace, harmony, sacredness, all of these energies require you to get in and to start to be creative, to make them happen. It's not just about the thoughts that you think, but the 6 of Wands with that sweetness of the hummingbird, the joy that's coming in here, there's something beautiful to celebrate, and that will be acknowledged, not just for you, but for people around you. All beginnings can feel kind of awkward and difficult, and it doesn't mean that they're not right or they're not aligned. So there's something about what you're beginning or initiating and feeling unsure or uncertain in some regards with Ace of Cups and that 7, but actually it's going to end up being the right thing for you, and you're going to end up being able to kind of truly embody it and recognize the value of it happening right now in spite of the discomfort, okay? Because the upside, the reward of it, what you recognize within yourself about it is really important. But you have to love what you do. You have to love who you're with. You have to love the energy that you bring to the table. And if you don't have a seat at the table, then Taurus, bring your own chair, because right now you're supposed to be taking up space. You're supposed to be inviting in like a deeper sense of respect for who you are, your choices and decisions, the way in which you're moving through the world. But remember, it's not all about what you're doing, but in who you're becoming in the process. And this is what we really are welcoming in this month. It is a turning point. It's not the time to give up on things. Your emotional reaction is going to be giving you absolutely all of the information that you need in terms of where you currently sit with some of the healing and where you have made the progress. And we want you to call out when you have, okay? 4 of Wands here. Now we've got a house in the middle of the forest. There's something about you being a little wild and a little rebellious and searching for that twinkle in your own eye this month, because opening doors to adventure is going to be really important. Now the 4 of Wands does bring a sort of sense of stability and a strong foundation for you to do that, a reminder to celebrate. But again, this focus back into our emotional roots and perhaps location, thinking about Where are the spaces and places that make me feel that I can create, that I do feel I can invite others in and kind of have that sense of community and collaboration? That's what my heart longs for. And so there may be choices and decisions that you're going to be making about refreshing, reviving, moving on, or absolutely considering what's going to be best for me and where is the space that's going to be able to hold that. That's going to be important. So we're going to welcome Chiron shifting retrograde on the 19th of the month, yeah. And remember, in Aries, it's a review of our sense of independence, the way in which we're able to assert ourselves in different situations, how we find that inner warrior. So we have to go back over and assess, where have we lost something along the way? Where have we come consumed with some limitations around us? Now, the Seven of Pentacles is giving us a deep assessment and opportunity to kind of step back. Now, it's not that the work hasn't been done, it has, but now it's just a time to say, well, where is it showing up and how can I strengthen that story so that I do actually allow myself to come out of this cycle? I think for some of you, there's also firm offers that can feel secure. There is a sense of loyalty that's being demonstrated and expressed to you this month, Taurus. Are you aware of it? Can you identify where that's coming from? Because if you allow yourself to fully receive it and not try to sabotage or hide away from it or pinch yourself off from it, actually what you're going to recognize is that there's so much more appreciation for you than you had realized or expected. And if you can't, if you're able to kind of release some of the unsolicited opinions, the ones that do not matter because they have no, there's no reference for them in your life. These are people that you don't know. They're immaterial in terms of what you're doing. Then you're able to kind of really identify the people who are meant to be around you just now. And don't be sorry for the new standards that you're setting for yourself. Now, the Seven suggests that there's a time for harvest. And you may be feeling or expecting or anticipating that that should be now. But with all of these retrograde planets slowing down, there may be something to learn or to understand or to gain before that happens. Why would they do that? It's not punishment. What it's about is getting you to a place where you're fully ready to receive it when it shows up, so that you don't end up pushing it away or still finding a way to be critical or judgmental of it, thinking, well, it's great, but it could have been more, or it's okay, but it's still not enough. So what we're looking at here is the universe directing you quietly, consistently, consciously back into the self this month, to have those kind of conversations with yourself. Are you really ready for the things that you want? And then giving yourself chance to kind of be a bit unbridled and free, and revisiting some of the visions that you have. I love this wild, rebellious energy that I'm picking up for you. And again, the activation of that Uranus trining in your sign on the full moon in Capricorn suggests that actually there could be a nice little ignition of something that comes in quite bountifully actually at that time. Remember, the full moons are about things coming to fruition. So for some of you, for sure, there might be something that comes in a little bit unexpected by way of abundance, or by way of information, news, messages that give you a sense of pride or accomplishment, and kind of you can really use as an important stepping stone for what comes next. Now, we're going to welcome the sun shifting into Leo on the 22nd. We've also got the asteroid goddess Ceres moving into the sign on the 23rd. So here, there are going to be opportunities to start to feel more self-assured. Now remember, I do the goddess reports. We look at your personal natal chart, Taurus, and discover 12 of the asteroid goddess energies and how they influenced you personally. You can find the description for that, all the details, in the box underneath the video. So we have the Ten of Wands here, and it's about you addressing what you're still feeling obligated to, what still feels heavy, where you still feel a sense of duty. And there is a question here, because oftentimes, yes, the 10 is about, what do we need to put down? What do we need to let go of? What do we need to say, okay, enough is enough? And I definitely think that there is a recognition of you coming to that place, and, as we said, finding a new way to say it and to mean it. But when I look at this and I see all these flowers in bloom, and I think, this is your graft, like this is your hard work. Like you knew why you were doing this. There's a part of you that was like, whether it was about something that you were directly trying to grow for yourself or put the work in to realize for your advancement, or where you have been showing up or tending to something outside of you. In that experience, what's been understood and gained, what's been sort of banked, if you like, from a karmic perspective, is actually really important. So sometimes we do have to work hard. Sometimes it is a challenge. Sometimes we do need to scale the mountain. And it's not about giving up. It's about persevering to get it to the end of the line. And the 10 suggests to me that you're almost there with something. So as we said, this is not a month for you to give up or to give in any capacity. Now, Juno, asteroid goddess, who's coming in favourably with that full moon. Now, remember, she represents our relationships to marriage, to commitments, agreements, partnerships in any form. And retrograde in Pisces, we're going to be reviewing, of course, the themes that come up with that energy. The big question is going to be, what am I sacrificing? So between 25th and all the way through till October, you will carefully be reviewing anything that you've signed up to, anything that you're involved in, across the board, personally, professionally, romantically, and there'll be an opportunity to revisit and say, okay, is this still working? And if it isn't, what adjustments now need to take place? Because the themes here that you're going to be looking at, your spiritual journey, your creativity, your hopes and your dreams, but also we look at the shadow aspect of Pisces, what is coming up by way of addiction, escapism, boundary issues, where we feel illusionary or tapped into the fantasy of things. So an awful lot of stripping back energy that takes place in July, which means that you're going to have to try to simplify things in your life. And you're going to need that because there's space that wants to be created for so much of this new light that's coming in with the Ace of Cups. And that's delivering some real sweetness, which is positively impacting you, especially in those important relationships. Remember, we've said before, you're on your destiny path now with the North Node in your sign. So everything that's taking place for you does have extra meaning. And sometimes it can be challenging to sort of go through the discomfort of those changes. But ultimately, if you sort of switch off the noise of everything else and just let that inner voice speak to you, you are going to realize that everything that's happening is guiding you towards an energy that's helping you to feel more liberated, more free, and more in tune with your own footsteps. It's just like, I'm doing what's right for me and it really feels good. Let's have a look and see how the astrology cards want to just join this conversation. Now we're going to have a new moon coming in the sign of Leo on the 28th, which will be the same day that Jupiter shifts retrograde in Aries. So when Jupiter's retrograde, remember the expansion is going to be taking place internally. You have the flower spirit. Well, there's a delicate energy here, a fragility perhaps, but at the same time, like such a powerful strength, an understanding of working with the seasons and the cycles, that everything comes into bloom at its right time. She's resting here. So there may be this moment, especially around that new moon, where you're needing to just take a step back. You're needing to kind of go within and really think about, what's my next step here? Because the next step is set to be pretty significant for you, I feel. And remember, as we come toward that end of July, something deep will have been resolved within you. You'll have said your piece, you'll have meant it, you'll have found a sense of acceptance about the fact that, okay, I'm doing this. And now what we're doing is we're nurturing and nourishing ourselves, because that Ace of Cups is saying it's absolutely imperative that you take that directive with yourself all the way through this month. You may have a strong intuitive feeling to work with botanicals and remedies that are going to help support whatever emotional frequencies you're dealing with as well. So checking out or returning to things like natural back remedies might be really supportive for you in July as you're doing a lot of that deeper soul review work. But what we're looking at here is like a really progressive month for you, I think, and it may feel like sort of slow, steady steps, and at times feeling like you're kind of getting stopped, and that you have to kind of sit there for a while and then you get to start moving again. And all of the way in which the universe is responding to what's going on for you right now is helping you to find deeper vision and clarity about what matters, what's important. And I do think that people are getting a clearer understanding and appreciation for actually what you've been through, and maybe like the ways in which it's changed you. And I think you need that. There's something about just needing to be recognized and seen and heard and understood in that capacity, just so that you can be like, now you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, so there is that importance. But remember, people will assume unless we tell them. So that's where we have to sometimes have those vulnerable, difficult conversations to let them know. You know, the preview of your future, Taurus, if you're looking for it, is absolutely in the present actions that you're taking. And what we're looking at this month is inner parent, nurture, nourish, respect, give credit, celebrate, recognize all of the value that you have within the self. That's the thing that's going to start to illuminate it more for you. Oh, I love that. North Node coming through for you, of course, destined to have as you are. And the path that you've taken, the river is carving its way through this difficult mountainous landscape. Yeah, and we've got the kind of, almost looks like a sea dragon coming through there. It's powerful, it's in flow, it's in harmony, it's leading you to command your highest timeline. And you just need to have confidence and absolutely have the courage of your conviction this month, because you are making the right choices and decisions. You cannot get this wrong. Everything is an experience right now, but there is a lot of healing that can come through to help you this month. Now, just a reminder, my Oracle deck Life Soul Vision is coming out at the end of July. If you have already pre-ordered, thank you so much. Just a preview here. Can't wait to start using this with you. Blossoming Soul Song is the one that I just wanted to give you a quick preview of, just to bring that joy and creativity and artistry through this month. Okay, so this is a general reading for the month of July, Taurus. Just going to invite you to think about a personal question that might not have come up in the main reading here. We will go ahead and pull you a couple of personal cards. You'll find the answer to these in the extended reading, and the link for that again is in the comment and the description box underneath the video. It's a way to support me and enable me to keep delivering the free soul stories every month. So if the reading resonates, I really appreciate those of you that follow up in the extended. Okay, so I'm just going to clarify now this main spread, all right? Just beginning with the Knight of Cups. Coming through with the Knight of Pentacles here. All the decks that I use are also listed, by the way, in the comment and description underneath. So we have Justice emerging here. What about that Seven of Swords? The World. Okay, good. And the Page of Cups. Tender as we go is what the guys just said to me. Okay, it's not a month to be bullish, it's definitely a month to slow it down. Got the Moon and the Star, beautiful. The Hermit, okay, there's that introspective energy. Eight of Swords, Two of Cups. Lots of healing around relationships this month, which I like for you. Important decisions to make. Another Four of Wands coming in. Ten of Pentacles. Okay, Page of Pentacles. He's like a little wayshower showing up there. Love that. Five of Wands. Some fives coming through here. It's not a month without challenge. That's when we're asked to go deeper and we really have to face those difficult triggers. King of Pentacles, nice. And the Six of Cups. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to see you next time. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you there, Taurus. Have a beautiful month of July.